Great. Nino, have you, outside of competition, have you spent much time in Australia?
No, I have been there for some competition.
Yeah.
Actually, my first world champion title I won in Australia,
Is that
Canberra.
is that right? Where was
Uh,
that?
Canberra,
Okay.
two, 2009.
Canberra. We say Canberra. That's hilarious. That's good.
Canberra, Canberra.
Canberra. Oh, that's how it should be saying. Yeah. Oh, good memories.
And
Do you
then I've been back there in Cairns for some World Cup racing and World Championships in, what was that? In 50, that's also a while ago.
yeah.
Yeah, but the only chances had to be in Australia so far. It's a bit far from Europe.
It is so far, isn't it?
Uh,
It's so far. Did you know? I was looking at the map the other day, like the world map, when you see it as a flat picture
uh,
and it has all the countries laid out. On the map, Australia is actually much bigger than it appears on the map. So
yeah,
they scale
the,
it.
the scale is, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I
a
did.
cool website. You can go to True Size, and then you can pull all countries to the equator, and then you see the real size.
Oh,
Because
that's
the world is the true size.
true size. All right, I'm typing that
And
in
then
for
you like
later.
and also like Greenland or something. It's way
Yeah,
too big actually because it's like, yeah, if you want to put a round Earth on a square paper,
yeah. If you believe in that. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, cool. All right, true size. I've got it in there. I'm gonna look at that later.
yeah,
That's super cool. Hey, Nino, is this your off season at the moment?
yeah. Now I just started training again for 2024, but yeah, I
Okay.
had some good off time, some holidays, and now I'm back in training. Yeah.
What do you do in the off season?
So I think it's quite important to first, after the season, to take really a break, to rest, um, to do some holidays for 2, 3 weeks, not
Yeah.
touching your bike, be a bit active, other ways, but for sure not riding and not training. I think that's really important to be motivated again and to recover well.
But what do
So
you
I
do?
did that.
Like, what do you actually do? So, say you're staying active. Are you going for hikes? Are you walking the dog? Things like that?
Whatever what you like, it's also important that it makes you pleasure and you're having fun. So I've been first with my daughter. I've been on in Italy for some holidays. I did some wing foiling, and
Oh,
she
really?
did some windsurfing a little bit and stuff
Yeah.
like this. So just do if you really feel, you also can just lie next to the pool. It's also, I think it's important that you really rest.
Yeah.
And later I was on Iceland. We did a lot of hikes, stuff like this. So I think it's, yeah, for your brain to
Yeah.
recover, to come a bit down from all the racing, from traveling, from all this pressure all the time, doing
Yeah.
something that you just enjoy and where the fun must be in the focus. Um, yeah, and now I'm back in training, still not racing. Racing is still far. I will do my
Yeah.
first competitions in mid-March.
Much.
But yeah, it's again like every day is like planned for training plan. Yeah.
Okay. Do you um do you get recognized in Italy and when you're on holiday? Do people come up to you and ask for photos, things like that? Does that happen often?
It depends a bit where, like there it's like as soon it's a place where it's like active people and like
Yeah.
a bit enjoying sports, then I get recognized, especially if there's like Swiss people, then it's happening often. But yeah, it's also place in Iceland. There was like
Yeah.
Iceland was actually, I also enjoy that when nobody knows me and
Yeah.
I just can be a normal person for a while.
Yeah, for sure. I always think about like the world's best cricketers, cricket, Indian cricketers. They often
Mhm.
like one of the best cricketers ever was Sachin Tendulkar. and he couldn't even live in India because he just couldn't go anywhere. Like literally,
Mm.
like in his home in your hometown, sometimes that's the hardest place to be for a an athlete or someone who's got some fame. But
It's
I guess
it's also nice when you when you see people enjoy
yeah,
what you do, and see, especially with kids, I quite enjoy
yeah,
when they make big eyes. Ah, this is this guy I saw on TV or whatever. It's
yeah,
it's also something really cool, but there's also moments where it's a bit annoying when you lying next to the pool. It's also nice when nobody recognizes you.
yeah, for sure. That's really cool. And you mentioned a bit of foiling as well. That's cool. That's really cool.
It's quite cool, but I just started for some, so
Oh,
I can't say I really foiled, but I tried.
fair enough. Fair enough. So one of the big reasons why I wanted to talk to you, outside of you being, one of the greatest cyclists of all disciplines, of all time, just you such an amazing career, and it's really a privilege to speak to you. But whilst you've had such a career of dominance, and continued level at the top, and I really like in the last few years how you've been challenged a little bit more from different sides. So, say for example, the I guess the newcomers of the sport, like we've seen with Pidcock, like we've seen with Van der Poel, these riders coming in uh, and giving you a real fresh challenge, which is, from my point of view as a viewer, and I love the narrative of cycling. And for me, the new riders coming in, trying to take down the man who's been at the top for so long and still is. I love that narrative. And I just wanted to know, how do you sort of stay like, I don't know, like when you see new riders coming in to the level of Pidcock and Van der Poel as examples, does that motivate you to step things up, or to continue just really trying to find every percent?
For sure, yeah. I think it's quite important to stay motivated, or if you see if you have people that you really want to beat them. And but I was lucky through my whole career. I always had these big opponents, like with Upsalo. I really he was the mountain bike star of the scene, and then I tried to beat him, and I
Yeah,
gave everything to beat him, and I knew I need to be on my best to beat him. And then I had some great battles with Yaroslav, the
yeah,
same thing again, and then with Vanderpool coming, for sure it was also now is this young kid, super talented, trying
yeah,
to win mountain bike races. For sure gives you motivation, and it's also nice. It's pretty cool that, yeah, those riders coming in, showing also more attention to the sport.
yep,
It's something I quite enjoy, and it's nice. I can still battle with those young kids. It's it's not getting easier, but I quite enjoy, and I think it's quite important to have those rivalities, to stay motivated, to give everything, even in training, when you really need to dig deep, to see a goal. If you want to beat those talents, you need to be on your best. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I kind of think of it like junior cyclists, and when you were a junior, if when you win all the time, sometimes juniors have it lucky with where they live or just the current crop of talent around them. They might always win the really talented ones because they don't have enough competition around them. But then when they go on to a national level or international level, then they get challenged and maybe they get beaten. And that's often a really good turning point for junior cyclists because they realize, oh, I can't just turn up and win. I need to lift again. And maybe that's the similar thing when you as an adult and you get someone else coming in who can challenge you. It pushes you to go a bit more, right, as opposed to just being at the top all the time.
Either if those competitions or those races where you are disappointed, or someone was beating you, or you really feel I need to step up to keep up, it's those moments where you learn the most, and where you see it's not enough. And that's for sure the key moments. Like if you
Yeah.
realize, hey, there's others out there that they are pretty fast too.
Yeah, yeah. And you just mentioned it before. Have you noticed maybe a rise in attention in cross country mountain biking since Van der Poel and Pidcock have come onto the scene recently? Have you noticed a bit of a lift or
For sure, they also helped, but I think it's also in general the development in the sport. Like since a few years, it's going quite well. It's for sure had to do with a lot Red Bull doing a really great production,
yeah,
making the sport actually accessible for a lot of people to actually see what is mountain biking.
yeah,
I think that was the most important thing in the past, let's say, 8, 10 years, that they really made a great production where you can watch it worldwide, quite easy without having too much burdens to go over to. Like, that's for sure was the most important thing. And then, like, for sure also this great racing. It's like tight racing, big battles. I think that's also what people love and people like to see. And then when a road guy or cyclocross guy is coming in, for sure it brings a new spectators again to the scene, and then they stick hopefully there,
yeah,
and we'll keep on watching. And it's a nice development the past years in the mountain bike sport, and now also Discovery taking over, hopefully making even a better job and bringing it to a bigger audience would be cooler. But I think we are in a really good way, and all those riders from other disciplines for sure help as well.
yeah, yeah. And you're right. The extended coverage or improved coverage. I would watch it over here in Australia on GCN, and watch many of the World Cups because it's the viewing and the coverage is so good. You get all the different camera angles of the different features and sections on the circuits. Then sometimes I use the drones, which is really cool. Like I love seeing that. And I reckon, don't you think drones might be the future? Like maybe 20 years time, the entire race might be covered by like, I don't know, 20 drones that kind of swap, bits of coverage. That would be so cool.
I think like the following cameras brings shows also the speed. If there's all cameras just static, it sometimes you don't get the feel of the speed. So I think it's important to have some cameras like drones, or even it could also be fixed cameras on athletes, like on the bike.
Yeah.
I think that's something what we're also going to see soon.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to have like the fixed static cameras, because if not, you're getting sick watching the race, because it's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
it's
true.
I think it needs to be a good mix, but the technology is quite insane what it's now possible, and I think those drones are really cool
Yeah.
to see the speed, to see a bit more what it really means to ride a trail down fast or whatever. That's pretty cool. That wasn't possible a long time, but now you also get this feel, and I think it's nice for the spectators to have this view.
Do you watch Formula One, Nino?
Sometimes I'm
Yeah.
not a huge Formula One
Yeah.
fan, but I enjoy sometimes to watch. It's yeah.
Well, I asked because Formula One for me is one of the benchmarks for sporting coverage. NBA is similar, the basketball, but Formula One in terms of a motorsport or an active sport,
Mm.
where they place their cameras in the coverage. They've got cameras on the front wings, they've got them on the course, and my favorite, and this could be one they could use in cross country or any cycling, they have one in the helmet. It's an incredible view because that is the one camera that shows the speed of how fast they are going, and you get to see
Mm.
it must be in the visor, Nino, because you see like the lights. It's almost like they're going warp speed. And imagine that the point of view cam from someone like yourself on a real hectic rock garden, like that would be so sick.
Yeah, I hope technology will make it possible. So for on cycling, everything needs to be light, and it needs somehow to fit. Like on a
Yeah,
car, it's a bit easier to have like all the transponders and everything.
yeah,
But
true.
also there, technology will come soon. I'm
Yeah,
actually involved in the organization of a Swiss cycling cup, the bike revolution. And there we have already onboard cameras on the bikes. We use like GoPros on the handlebar.